got your back, no doubt it's me who's running this. No, I got nothing else to lose. Unstoppable.
Hey, Cassie, welcome back to Charmingly Toxic.
Hi, Denise.
So I'm cheersing with Prosecco today. It's been a long week. It's Sunday afternoon.
Cheers. I have some Sprite here.
Oh, nice. Okay. I haven't seen Sprite in a while. Making a comeback. We're going to talk today about the 1,000 Pound Sisters season finale.
Yes, that was so interesting how they covered that whole procedure and everything.
I
I was so
know.
happy for her at the end.
So we start off on the wedding day, countdown to the vows. And they show all the dresses and they show the bridesmaids' dresses, which are hideous. I mean,
Awful.
this does not look like Amy's personality. I thought they would be black or like red.
They don't seem to go with the theme at all, which she called Victorian elegance. You know? And then with Brittany too, Chris was like, my wife stays covered even if it's a V-neck. So Brittany wore a white undershirt with long sleeves, like a regular undershirt under her dress. And it just stands out like a sore thumb. Like I was just like, why would she put this on? And I don't understand that fashion choice at all.
They could have made her something maybe in the same color as the dress or just pinned something across, you know, the cleavage. But oh my gosh, I don't know where these dresses came from. They looked like they were made out of cotton and they were horrible. But Amy's was pretty.
Yeah, it was.
And she said her biggest worry about the day is the dance that they're going to do at the wedding. And I can't wait to get to that part with you.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so, Amy.
Okay, so we see the bridesmaids all arrive to get ready, and Amy talks to them about her eye surgery and it's recovering. I mean, holy crap. Would you get eye surgery 10 days before your wedding?
I don't think I would. However, I do understand her reasoning. Like, she didn't know this opportunity, you know, existed. It was even possible. And she wanted to feel her very best on her special day. So, I mean, I give her a lot of props for taking that risk and doing it. She had to be really brave to chance it at all. But I'm glad that she went through with it and had it done because she looks totally different to me. When I look at her, she looks totally different. And you can tell she felt beautiful.
You could tell she felt beautiful and so confident with her weight loss and her eye. And she looked great. I mean... Yes. So I don't know that I would be that brave. I would probably postpone my wedding, but I don't know.
Well, they wanted it on Halloween, though. It needed to be on Halloween.
Oh, that's
that
right.
was super important. So it was do or die. She had to get it done.
Good for her. So they're saying no one has heard from Tammy, so everyone's still unclear if she's going to show up or not. The glam squad shows up, and here where Amy says her vision is Victorian elegance, cotillion type shit.
And then she goes on to say, though, that it's actually like Cotillion's dirty little sister that was in the gutter for a little bit.
Where did she come up with this?
I don't know.
So Cotillion meets Halloween horror?
Yes, with gold and animals, centerpieces and theme too. So very
I have to say, the wedding planner. I mean, she looks so stressed this whole episode, and we've seen up to this point that she's had a lot of patience for this couple.
She has.
Obviously, never worked with anything like this before.
She must like taking on the challenge, but I give her kudos for staying professional the whole time. And, you know, like she never once made fun of anything. She took in their vision. She tried to carry it out as much as possible. So I think she did a great job.
She really did. I thought she was going to lose it there at the end, but she kept it together. So she has Amy go downstairs with her to bring out all these centerpieces that she made. And Amy says, well, they all go together because they're all gold. And at the end of the day, they're all their own masterpiece.
Yep. And she says each one tells us like a different story. So the producer says to her in an interview, like, what does the sloth represent? And she goes, I don't know. But dead serious. It wasn't even like a joke. It was just like, I don't know.
I mean... What did they say was in there? Monkeys, crabs, snake, a horse, a sloth. Mm-hmm. The poor wedding planner goes, like, what's the theme here? And then she goes, there's nothing that greenery and candles can't save.
Yep.
And she was right. I mean, good thing that all those masterpieces were in gold cages, and with the greenery and the candles, it did look pretty damn good.
They kind of blended, you know, like the greenery was kind of forgiving and the candles, they kind of took a little bit of the focus away and those kind of blended in. She hung some of the bird cages up around the room, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think in the end, it was nice that she kind of had her own touch, her own individual take, and that was included in the wedding, you know?
I think too there was a level of pride there because I was getting the sense that this is probably the nicest wedding any of them have ever been to.
Yeah.
And I think she was really proud of that.
I think so too. I think it was a nice opportunity for her to show her family, same as the art thing. Like I can do cool things and good things and I've made it, and you know, like to be proud of her.
Right. Because she is the youngest, right?
I think she is. If it's yeah, no. I think maybe Tammy's the youngest.
No, I
Do you
think,
think so? Because she talks about being a mother to Tammy.
but I think
So
she's younger than her.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So good for her. So we go to the guys getting ready. I mean, what a disaster. Poor Brian. First of all, they interview him, and first he's wearing a shirt that says support local horror. Did you catch that? I was like, okay, that's interesting. Where did you get that?
It is, but it was a Christmas. It was Halloween also. So he was
Mm-hmm.
on theme, you know?
True. And he can't figure out the bow tie. He's trying to pull it over his head. Chris is like, dude, come on.
Bless
What
his
is wrong
heart.
with you?
Yes, it wasn't even one that you had to tie yourself. It was one just the clip in the back, and he couldn't figure it out.
Or the vest. He's like, I don't know what to do with all these parts. In that moment, Chris was getting pretty frustrated.
He was, because he said at the end, he's like, he doesn't know anything like how to put any of this together, but I have to make sure he's looking sharp like A1 when he comes out. So it's just making more work for Chris at the end.
Didn't he say like an A1 pimp or something?
Yes.
That was funny. So we cut back to Amy. She looks incredible.
She does.
I mean, her hair, the hair coloring,
Yes.
the way that they put it up, the crown was amazing.
Hmm.
I mean, that was the best she's ever looked.
Yes. And who doesn't want to feel like their very best on their wedding day? But it was also true to her vision and true to Amy. Like even the hair color, the black crown, like it was all different. Like you wouldn't see a typical bride with it. It was all very like what Amy envisioned herself to be. And that was nice to see.
Yeah, it was stunning.
Mhm.
And so we see Tammy come in. Everyone's on edge. Like, what Tammy is showing up right now? And Amy looks really scared.
Mhm.
Like, oh God, don't ruin this. You could just see her on the verge of who let her in here.
Right. Worried what's going to come out of her mouth. How's that going to affect my day?
So the first thing I noticed when Tammy started talking was she wasn't using a baby voice. This was
Right.
like an adult woman's voice.
Right. Yes.
And you said you wrote down everything she said.
She actually said, I'm sorry, which was the first thing that caught me by
Yes,
surprise.
I'm sorry. First thing.
Yes. Which, because we've been waiting for that, I'm sorry, I think, I don't know, half the season. Right. And then she said she wants to prove to Amy that she's there to support her. And then she said that she accepts Brian and their union together, and accepts Brian as her brother-in-law and Amy just as she is. And then she presents her with this beautiful bracelet that's, can be Amy's something borrowed, something new and something blue.
Right.
But this apology, I feel like it's everything that Amy has been waiting to hear. You're sorry for what you said. You actually accept my husband to be, like you're going to treat him like a brother-in-law. You accept our relationship and recognize it. You're not going to comment negatively on it. Like all of these things that she's been waiting to hear in these few moments. And I don't know, I felt really happy for her that she got that before she walked down the aisle.
It was a beautiful moment, and it felt so authentic. The way that she was speaking, so calm, so regulated. You could tell it was coming from the heart. And Amy was, I think, overwhelmed and shocked, but so grateful.
Yeah.
That was a great TV moment.
It was. It was authentic, and you could tell that she really wanted her sister there and wanted that relationship. It wouldn't have been the same having the wedding, I think, without them being on decent terms. Like they were two peas in a pod for so long.
Mm-hmm.
For me, and I mentioned this before we were on the pod, but like, I just wonder, like, where did this apology come from? Was Tammy really able to reflect and realize where she was wrong, or did she decide to like just let bygones be bygones and like let me be the bigger person and make an apology first? But like, why now? and why all the other times, all the other episodes, it was like so difficult for her to get here to this point. And you had a take on that.
I do. So as a therapist, so with this show, it's hard because the timeline is always a little bit wonky and you don't know how much time has passed. And so I am thinking she's clearly medicated appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this type of change, especially when we're talking about nervous system regulation, calmness, taking accountability, really feeling what the other person must have felt like, that can happen in therapy, but not that fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she was appropriately medicated and in therapy prior to this. Also with a lot of encouragement from Andrea. And also, like you said, Andrea kind of giving her like an ultimatum, like, get your shit together or I'm out.
Right. I think Andrea was at her wit's end, and she even said that in this episode too. Like, never again. They better stay on good terms because I can't do this again. Not this girl.
Yeah, she was so funny. I think she was drunk in that clip.
So
I do.
It looked like they filmed that before they walked down the aisle and before but maybe they had refreshments like a cocktail hour. Who knows?
I definitely think they pulled her and she had a couple to drink, but she was so funny.
She was. Before we get ahead of it, because I wanted to mention a couple of things about that conversation too, but like I feel like maybe she did have that therapy, and like you said, the timeline is a little interesting because we know too, like if you look at Amy, she said 3 sizes in clothes, and that doesn't happen overnight. So like How long did this whole filming happen, and did she have time to go to therapy and regulate on her medications? Because we found out since the last time that we filmed, in a couple episodes prior, she said that there's some of the reasons for her emotional dysregulation was the fact that she was still on the same dose of medication she was taking for her mental health before she had all this weight loss. So she needed to have her medications adjusted. And so again, that takes some time to get the body regulated again. Maybe it was a perfect storm. Maybe she had time. Maybe she had the appropriate medication dosage. Maybe she had some therapy. Whatever it was, I'm glad they were able to work it out and we got some closure through the season.
And just to see adult Tammy was really nice, not temper tantrum, acting like a toddler, out of control. Because honestly, I think if she wasn't medicated, she wouldn't have shown up, or she would have shown up and been mopey or grumpy or having an attitude. Props to Andrea for getting this all going.
Moral of the story, thank you, Andrea. But you could even see that Tammy was putting effort. Did you see she was wearing heels?
Yes.
Heels for you. What a win. Like I don't know that she's ever worn heels before, and this was like, what a special moment for her to have and to be able to wear heels to her sister's wedding.
And then after that, they could get back to their banter and joking a little bit about, hey, if I didn't like your hair, I would tell you, but it looks phenomenal. Or, of course, you're wearing diamond slides to your wedding.
Yes. Any excuse to wear slides, any situation she can get by with wearing them, she will.
Yeah. So that was nice to see that, they could get back to that, making fun of each other in a nice way.
Yeah, that's what we miss, is them joking around in a playful way and not getting at each other's jugular, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then Amy finally gets into her wedding dress. And this is where the wedding planner's losing her shit because it's taking so long for her to get it on. Plus, I think there was a time delay with the Amy-Tammy talk that probably was a lot longer than what we saw edited down. Mm-hmm. But I guess there's, these tiny buttons all the way down the dress, and all the bridesmaids are taking turns trying to button her up. And you can just see the wedding planner like looking at the clock like, you've had 4 hours to get ready. What the hell's going on here?
She was sweating. She's like, she's been getting ready for hours. What is taking so long? Why are we behind?
Yeah. And then at one point, Brittany was like, here, maybe we can use this hanger to help. I was like, what are you talking?
That was so strange. I was lost.
Okay. So this is when they have the confessional with Andrea where she's like thrilled that the sisters are getting along because I can't take this shit anymore. And she's like, peace out, holler back. That's why I was like, she's had a drink or two.
Yeah, she was like, if this ever happens again, this girl is not going to put up with it. Peace out, holler back. I'll talk to you later.
I still want her back next season, but I just don't think maybe they'll just like adopt her as a sister, even if her and Tammy don't stay together. The whole family seems to really like her.
One can hope. I mean, she wore a hoodie. That's what I was thinking too. We were talking. She wore a hoodie to the wedding, like a blue hoodie on top of a polo, like was the dress up wear.
And like Carhartt pants.
Yes. But it works for her. For Andrea, I'm like, she can pull it off.
Yeah. Okay, so we go to the walking down the aisle, and poor Brian, he looks really, really nervous.
Mhm.
And Misty looks phenomenal.
She does. Probably the
Tammy,
best she's ever looked also.
I mean, she really looked good. And Tammy was kind of making fun of her a little bit, like, she always dresses like a guy. Like, this is kind of crazy, but she looks amazing. And I think in like a previous episode, Misty had said like she wore sweatpants to her first wedding.
She did. She's very tomboy. Like she's always wearing like those sayings on her t-shirts and stuff, which are funny and it's just
Mhm.
her, that's her aesthetic, you know? So, but she cleans up nicely.
Oh my gosh, she looked so incredible. And I think they all did. I mean, even Brittany's hair in the back was done really nice.
Mm-hmm.
A plus glam squad. I think the wedding coordinator was in charge of picking them.
They did a phenomenal job.
Okay, so we cut to the boys. So how old do you think these kids are? 4 and 2?
I think 3 and 2.
I mean, they're a hot mess. I mean, they look cute in their tuxes, but their shirts unbuttoned, hanging out. They're just all over the place. And the wedding coordinator again is like, how am I going to get these kids down the aisle?
Mm-hmm. They were super smart with what they did though.
That was genius.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think that was planned beforehand or she just kind of came up with that at the last minute?
I think it was planned because if you didn't see the episode, what they did was had the boys go down with little baskets and the audience, like whoever was in the audience, the family gave them candy as they went. And so they had to have the candy out and be ready to give it out. And it was kind of like a trick or treat nod to Halloween. So it all worked and it got the kids down the stinking aisle.
And it was perfect. They're just like, we're collecting candy. This is fantastic. And then they see their mom and Gage gives her a hug and Glenn is trying to take pictures with the phone. I mean, that was just really precious moments that you hope for when you have toddlers in a wedding.
Yes. I mean, at first we heard them crying. So it was like hit or miss. What are we going to do? But they got it together. They made it down when they saw their mom. Like you could just see them light up and you could tell that they have a good relationship. Like for whatever anyone wants to say or judge, they're toddlers, and they're at a wedding, but they love their mom.
So my oldest daughter was in 2 weddings when she was 2 and she had ADHD. Oh my God. The stress on me was like through the roof because I was like, I don't know if she's going to pull this off. And she had a lot of sensitivity to texture and the dress. Oh. Every time I put it on her, she was like, off, 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 this dress off. Oh. So in both weddings, she walked down the aisle. She went straight to my mom. My mom took her to the back and took the dress off.
Right off.
And took her home.
I don't blame her. Those formal wear, the gowns and things, they're not comfortable.
I mean, she looked precious, but the stress of having kids that young in a wedding is pretty high.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Brian sees Amy. She goes up to him and he's like, you look amazing. That was so sweet. Billy reads their vows. I thought this was so smart. I mean, I was always like, I'm never writing my own vows because I had, in my mind, had to read them.
Right.
And I knew all I was capable of was reciting them back to whoever was feeding me the words. Mm-hmm. But if I knew I could have someone read my vows, that would have been great.
It's genius. And you can just get everything out on paper and have them do all the talking.
Yeah. I don't think they would have done that in the Catholic Church, though, and that's where I got married.
That you may have a point there, yeah. But I think this also specifically works for Amy because, with the tinker tantrums of it all, like it was probably best to have someone read it out for her.
But also, too, I was wondering about her, how good her vision was, because when she came out to walk down the aisle, there was a moment there was like, she looked like she couldn't see. I was like, either she can't see or she is like on the verge of a panic attack.
The man who was walking her out stepped on her dress. Okay. So she went to walk and she got pulled back a little bit. So so that's what happened. I noticed that too. Yeah.
Her face was like alarm, and couldn't get her balance right away. So I was like, oh gosh, but maybe she would have had trouble too, reading, who knows? I mean, I was a hot mess at my wedding. I mean, I had a panic attack before I walked down the aisle. I think I practically ran down the aisle because I don't like people watching me. Mm-hmm. And no way I could have read vows off a piece of paper.
It's a lot and you're in front of everyone too. And it's just, I think it was a good idea that she had him read for her.
Plus, you know, it's being videoed and the whole world's going to watch it on TV. So that adds to it too.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, you know, in these scenes, I've always been questioning Brian and what I think of him, but I'll have to say, in these scenes,
Mm-hmm.
he was likable.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked in the vows how they included protection against camels.
Yes.
That was cute.
I thought it was sweet. I think that I was also like, why would he brought up the arrest? And I think
Oh,
me
yeah.
and Chris were talking about that. He was like, we've been through so much, like our challenges and our arrest. And Amy like pauses and she's like, first and only arrest. Like she has to clarify. It's like, why would you bring that up in front of all your family and friends on your special day? But to him, I guess it was like, we made it through like some of the most challenging things and we're still
Yeah.
strong.
He's very socially awkward, and I don't know that he has an aware. Well, maybe he is aware. I don't know. And we'll see more of that coming up. And then my other note was, why at the ceremony, why did Lily not have shoes on?
And I wondered too, then when I was looking back, I was like, was everyone wearing shoes? Were they not? Like maybe they were uncomfortable, but usually at a wedding, people wait to take off their shoes till they're dancing for a couple hours.
Right. Like she was standing up like on the altar, wherever they were, no shoes. The other women did have shoes on. So I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So then after the wedding, we see Amy and Brian in the guillotine, totally on brand for this wedding. And then they mention that mom doesn't come because she's in a wheelchair. What?
So they said this in the prior episode. Mom and Tammy were talking at a restaurant. That was when Tammy became overstimulated. The mom was saying, I want to go, but I can't go because of the wheelchair. Like, I guess maybe there were some stairs or something at the venue and she wouldn't be able to get up there.
Oh, so like it wasn't wheelchair accessible. I don't know. They have had enough ramps from wheeling Tammy around. They couldn't just bring some ramps over,
That's a good point. Yeah.
or at least get into the reception. I mean, the restaurant part. I don't know. I thought that was a pretty lame excuse, but
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. The family all looks like they really are having a great time when they're taking pictures. I mean, this is this family at their best.
Mm-hmm. It was nice to see everyone getting along and having a good time and joking around, and then at the reception, really dancing and having a good time. I've seen several social media clips of Tammy like really dancing it out, and it was like so nice to see. Like this would not have been a possible like a year, 2, 3 years ago. You know, like especially she was in a wheelchair, she wasn't able to do anything, and look at her now.
I was almost crying at that point. Like the freedom she must have felt to be able to move her body like that and really, you know, have so much agency over her body. I can still cry thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bucket list moment for her. Like, I can get up and dance at my sister's wedding.
100%. Yep.
So nice. So sweet. Then we see Andrea again having some drinks.
Lord. Yep, we do.
And it's funny because what did Chris say, that the drink she was drinking was the purple drink or something?
Called the Amy.
Called the Amy.
Yep.
It's like, you could light this thing on fire.
Yes.
I
And
wonder
so
what was
poor
in that.
Andrea, she only had one, but she was 3 sheets to the wind, and but she looked like she was having a good time. She was a happy drunk.
She was.
She kept saying, I think I need to leave my car here. And they're like, you already said that 3 times, dear.
Was it Amy's bachelorette, or was it another time that they went out and Amy was like, just pour everything into my drink? Or she was having like every concoction of like liquor and mixed drinks.
I remember that at some point, but it wasn't her bachelorette because she's like, I'm on probation, I'm not drinking. So it was super interesting because I think it was only Billy and Lily that were drinking because Brittany wasn't and Misty wasn't either. And neither was Amy when they were in Louisiana.
Okay. Yeah. And, you know, Amy likes to tie one on sometimes, we've seen. So that was on brand that they had this powerful drink named after her.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so now we get to the dance, the first dance.
Oh, the dance.
Yeah. Misty's face was priceless, and Brittany's too.
Where do you begin? I don't even think we could do it justice to try to describe what this looked like. But it was so hard to watch. Like I had secondhand embarrassment
Yes.
for them, but I was also sort of like, wow, like the amount of confidence to just continue going, even though you have no idea what you're doing, and you're even like looking and talking to each other, like saying, I don't know, I think this is what we do next, and everyone's just watching you.
I mean, that was terrible. So I understand the thought of let's take dancing lessons so we don't look like idiots during the first dance. And like, this has been a trend for a while. I got married in the 90s where you just kind of swayed back and forth. There was no, pre-learned dance moves.
Right.
She would have done better with just that.
Right.
But they gave it their best, and they just look at each other and they're like, yeah, that wasn't the best, but we don't care.
They knew it was pretty bad, I think. And I think Brian said, Amy leads it. Like, we agreed that Amy was going to lead, even though I'm the man. So I was just trying to follow. And she's like, well, I couldn't remember anything. So I was just doing whatever I thought. And then poor Brian tries to save it with his breakdance routine, like, I'm going to give it a grand finale at least and try to salvage this. And he looked like a fish that came out of the fish tank and fell on the floor. Like, it was a sight to behold. And he was saying like, man, I can't do this because of my tux. It was just
He tried 3 times.
a mess.
And then Tammy goes, that was something. I thought Brian was going to kick himself in the head. Bless his heart.
Mm-hmm.
The facial expressions on everyone. And Brittany too. Brittany's cracking up like, my gosh. And we rarely see her smile. And she was like laughing.
Everyone. I mean, it was entertaining, if nothing else, right?
It was. And so we cut to them serving the food, and this is also on brand, the food. Barbecue and fries are the meal.
I like it. They like it. I love it. It's unique to them. And also it's something that like everyone's going to enjoy. It's, it's not this kind of fancy stuff that no one really likes. So I'm glad for them.
Yeah. And that family loves barbecue. I mean, we know that for sure.
Right. And it's protein.
And she had her bib on, so she wouldn't get barbecue sauce everywhere. So that was
the wedding planner was appalled by that, but I understand it.
She was. So then Amy calls Tammy over to announce them. And so I think this was her way of trying to give Tammy a place in the wedding, something important, like you can announce us as a new couple, But then they get into like, how do you pronounce the last name? His last name, and he doesn't even know how to pronounce his own last name.
That was something, Laverne, and they kept saying it, and it's not that difficult of a last name, but they kept saying it over and over to where at the end I'm like, wait, do I even know how to really say it?
Because I think he said, so it's Lovvern, I think. I think he said it's Laverne.
Laverne. Yeah, now see.
Then he's like, however you want to say it, it's fine. Close enough.
Right. But I thought it was super sweet though, because this whole time, Tammy's done a good job of kind of holding things back. She didn't get to walk down the aisle. She didn't get to pick out or be involved with the wedding dresses and shopping and all that kind of stuff, the bridal dresses. But she did a good job keeping it together and being respectful. And this was a way of like including her and letting her be part of it. And the sisters were sisters again and reunited. And she said herself, it meant so much to be able to do that. I didn't expect it.
I again think if she wasn't on medication, she maybe would have been able to keep her mouth shut, but we would have seen on her face like her kind of smoldering inside or biting her lip. And I think all the joy she felt was real. And like that, so nice, so happy for her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Lily gives a speech. Chris gives a speech. Oh my God, Chris's speech. It's like, Brian, we tried to run you off. It didn't work. I mean, basically he's saying like, we've ripped you to shreds numerous times. We've, called you names to your face and you're still here.
Yeah, no, he admitted openly, even when he went to the bachelor trip or whatever that he arranged, their little outing. Like, he's like, I've tried to run him off. I've put him in awkward positions and he still keeps showing up. So like, that means something, like he really does care about Amy to stick it out with her family. And so it's kind of like they haze you into this family.
Exactly.
They accept you.
And he could take the hazing. He could take the humor. He didn't, cry or run away.
Yeah.
And they're brutal with each other.
No, they both loved the speech that Chris gave too. Amy and Brian were both like, oh yeah, his speech was great. And then Brian said, I liked it. It was a little threatening, but I like that in family. I was cracking up.
Because Chris said at one point, he goes, if you fuck up, I'll step on your throat.
Yes, which is on brand for Chris.
Very much so. And they continue with this Slaton family humor. And even Andrea mentions at one point, she goes, you never know with these Slatons. Like they're either going to rip it up and have a great time or like rip each other to shreds and destroy each other.
Right.
So we see them ripping each other apart, but they're all laughing, thank God, and going with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally this horse and carriage comes to pick them up and they're making all sorts of jokes about the horse and being fat and whatever. And then Amy, says she's afraid of the horse, but this was the best line of the show. They cut to Tammy in the confessional and she's like, bye. I hope you don't get bit by a horse.
She'd been dying to say that the whole time.
I mean, the whole fight really started because Amy was too afraid to go to the animal shelter with Tammy because she was afraid she was going to get bitten. And so this was just so fun and uplifting the way that she said it. It wasn't cutting. I mean, the tone was really funny and cute.
Mm-hmm. You could tell everything was water under the bridge and they could laugh about it now.
Mm-hmm. This was like one of the best episodes, I think, ever.
I really enjoyed it. It was nice that it had like a happy ending. They're kind of focusing on what's next for everyone. One thing we didn't get to mention was the bridal toss, the bouquet toss.
Oh, yeah.
And they had lined up, I think it was Lily and Misty and Andrea and Tammy. And the bouquet got tossed and it went on the floor and Andrea ran to grab it. And that made Tammy say like, I hope that we're next. Like, I really love her and we've been through so much. She's always stuck it out with me. And I hope that we're the next to get married. I'm ready to be married. And I was just like, oh no, like, I love Andrea, but I just know there's so much work there that needs to happen. It wasn't a healthy relationship for Andrea for a while there.
I agree. And, if Tammy could stay this way, that would be something. But she does have a lot of work to do, like to keep her mood stable. I do think that they've shown some spoilers where they're not together anymore. But I really want Andrea to come back as a cast member because the audience loves her and I don't think they're just going to let her go. So hopefully maybe we can learn more about her family or they can weave her in somehow.
I hope so. I love Andrea. She's down to earth. She's got a good heart. She cares. You can tell so I really hope that we can somehow find a way to incorporate her. But I don't know if Tammy would allow that if they really did separate.
I mean, also, at the end here, it looks like Amanda really has kind of removed herself from the show for health reasons, maybe. Like we didn't see a lot of her and she does look like she's suffering. And so who are going to be the cast members? I mean, I know one of the storylines will be obviously if Brittany can conceive or what that's, going to look like. But what else do you think there's going to be storyline wise?
So I guess maybe we'll explore the relationship and see what actually happened between Tammy and Andrea if they aren't together. The beginning of married life for Amy and Brian and see how they're navigating that. And I'm not sure. I think we might see some of Amanda's health battles. Like she's been on social media a lot lately, commenting back. Apparently she's been receiving a lot of hate for her looks and not keeping up with herself. And she's been talking about, she's like, I'm sick. I have autoimmune issues. I have hyperthyroidism. I have a lot going on right now. And some days are good and some days are bad. I'm sorry if me not coloring my hair is offensive, or if I look gaunt in my face, I'm not putting on makeup, like I'm trying to live day to day. So she's going through some serious health stuff right now. So I don't know if they're going to highlight that or if they're going to give her some space to kind of deal with that.
I mean, that's horrible. You can tell like she is ill. Like it's not like she's letting herself go. I can't believe people would say that.
They're saying like, oh, you're 45. Why are you letting yourself just go like that? Yes, really nasty comments. So I've seen her on not just once or twice, like it's been multiple times she's been responding to people's comments.
Wow. People are really mean.
Right. Way to kick someone when they're down. And she's been open about that she's having these health issues over the last year and a half. So it's not like you're not aware of what's happening.
I wonder if they'll show more of the guy who married them, Billy. Because the audience seems to like him and they like Andrea. So maybe Billy and Andrea can be friends of, like on Housewives.
Yeah, friends of. We can have them do some guest appearances. Maybe, because, like he did come to try to hang out with Tammy before she got overwhelmed and stuff. So maybe they can weave him in a little bit more too.
Yeah. So goodbye to the show for a while. We'll get back together to watch something.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. See you soon.
Bye, Denise.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Charmingly Toxic. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow reality TV junkies. You can connect with me on Instagram at Charmingly Toxic and join the conversation in the Charmingly Toxic Facebook group. This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only. While I am a licensed therapist, I'm not diagnosing anyone here. Expect real talk, sarcasm, and a few clinical insights woven in along the way. If you're seeking support for a toxic relationship, please reach out to a licensed therapist or visit my website, dccounseling.org.
Let you catch your breath.